Hey everybody, let's talk about the Epstein files today. We did a reading last week, which was the collective energy reading, and the cards said that there's going to be something in the algorithm that would be quite dark. You may need to distance yourself from it, you may need a social media break, and then we had the release of the more Epstein files. I'm surprised, the numbers here I'm just reading are the US Justice Department released over 3 million pages. Unbelievable. So that's an amazing amount of information and files released when there is no files, which is very interesting. So this includes things like FBI tips, call logs, wire transfer confirmations, private jet itineraries, flight lists, school enrollment paperwork, communications, emails, and internal notes. So quite a lot of information was released in this latest drop. Now, I have not gone through the files. Now, my reason for that is because the cards last week said be careful where you're putting your energy this week. There's going to be a lot of things with the algorithm that could be quite dark. So when all of the collective puts their energy into the same time, that's very powerful for harvesting. And I said that in that reading. I said it feels like an energy harvest to me. So I haven't participated in that at all this week. But other creators also, I've heard, have been sitting and binging these files for like 5 hours, 10 hours just of binging this information to create content, and they are recommending that you do not do this. You do not sit and binge. And I also would say, for your own mental health, for the collective energy, do not do that. Do not go. The information is so dark that I think you need to take it in bits to allow yourself to adjust to the darkness of this information. So I've got a few questions, and I'm going to be reading a couple of decks today just to ask those questions around the documents, around our best ways to work through this, and around anything else that may be within these files or covered up. So let's get on to today's reading. Today I'm using my Stardust Tarot, my Governance Oracle, and the Forecaster Oracle, depending on the questions that I'm asking today. And I thought it might be interesting just to flip over the top cards to see what they say. I have had a little preview anyway. This card is revealing false information, lies, or deception. So keep your eyes. And I think some of the redacted information could be connected to covering up, deceiving us, being deceptive by covering up information. A selfish agenda. Perpetrators, I'm guessing this is some of the people that deals made over here, this negotiation deals made, so that certain wealthy people do not come up in these files, are part of the heavy redaction. And I've always said all along, every time I read these Epstein files, we get the negotiation card, deals getting made to take people's names out of the files. So let's take a look here at the questions, and underneath that one is a movie for the camera. We did have some videos released, as I'm believing. We had 2,000 videos released. Question is there anybody that they are trying to keep out of the files? Redacted. Certain people they're trying to keep out. Maybe that have paid off. Maybe that have paid to have their names redacted. High profile people. Executives that have participated in group activities. Even certain high ranking females. Have bought to control and pull the strings of the people releasing files. So paid money and bought or paid off, so their names are redacted. So there's still people that are listed in there. Now, some of the interesting ones that came out this week were the tech billionaires, Bill Gates and Elon Musk. So let's start with those two. Let's take a look at Bill Gates. The card reading, all alleged, no facts. But we do see the names in the Epstein files, and that is factual. The interesting thing here is the tech billionaires that were mentioned in the latest download or drop of files. That was Elon Musk and Bill Gates. Now, I would imagine their information would be heavily redacted. So I'm just going to pull a couple of cards for each of these tech billionaires. Let's start with Bill Gates. Okay, so I only wanted to pull a couple of cards for Bill Gates, but a whole bunch of cards fell out. So I'm going to read what they are and what I was picking up as I'm turning the cards. I feel like he was, and I don't know if he was or not, I don't know if there's any facts here, but I feel like he was doing a startup. See, have we got the getting a start? I feel like he was involved in some kind of startup with some of these elites. So an alliance with either Epstein himself or ones higher up than whoever Epstein worked for. I feel like Bill Gates was involved in some kind of startup that involved. No, I just heard Elon Musk, even though I was about to say Epstein. That doesn't make sense to me, but it's when I was trying to say Epstein, then I heard Elon Musk. Right, so I want to be clear here. The startup is the startup. I'm reading for Bill Gates, and I'm getting information about a startup company or something that they were creating. But getting to the dirt, there was still something that was done, that was recorded to be used for blackmail. And that was a little game that they played. So anybody has some connection because there needs to be something on them so they can be controlled. So I feel like Bill Gates had something on him, even if he was spiked to get it. But they have something on him. So it could even be something that's not actually released, something that is redacted because of the information and knowledge that he knows about the startup company. So an entertainer or somebody in the entertainment industry. What if they were connected in this startup company? Okay, something about this is making me think about the information about the cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's dark history of why it was created in order for transactions to be untraceable. Now, I'm pretty sure they've come up in the latest release of information about the connections to Epstein and Bitcoin. And then Bitcoin plummeted. So I wonder if the tech billionaires, because I heard Elon, but I'm reading on Gates, are connected in that. Maybe they were offering the information or advice about that startup. But what I am seeing basically is there was an alliance with Epstein, something to do with gathering information for a startup, possibly Bitcoin. Had to be recorded, probably spiked to be recorded because of how much knowledge or information they had about the situation. And the blackmail is always used as a control mechanism. But living incognito. So still things under wraps. I think this has got to do with the antibiotics. Wanting to undercover put antibiotics in Melinda's food in case she contracted some kind of STD or STI. So that's information that's come out of the files that's been all over the internet, and I think that's what that's related to. So I think there's a little bit more there than what we're seeing. Next, let's pull some cards for Elon Musk. So what I'm here seeing for Elon Musk, and just to recap what I've heard is in the files about Elon Musk, is that he was emailing Jeffrey Epstein to say he's been working very hard. He's looking to party. This is the entertainment card, that's what that's representing. Okay, so this is the lighter end of the scale over here. This is the darker end. This is the connections to those emails that says that he was just looking to party, have some fun, let off some steam. That's his associations, or that's how he's linked or connected, according to those emails. However, this side of the card says facilitator, to obtain or gain an acquisition. So something that was acquired. He had a lot of money, wealth and status, and there was something specific he wanted to acquire. But there's a connection here to a facilitator. A facilitator is somebody that sets things up, has access to certain things that he provides for other people. So that's dark, but it's not actually anything I've heard that's been released. This I understand. He has wealth, and there were certain things he wanted to acquire, specific only to a Jeffrey Epstein type of party. Because really he had a lot of money. He could have had his own party. But he wanted something specific to want to go to Epstein parties. Now this is all alleged. It's entertainment purposes only. It is card reading. But some of it is part of the factual information that's been released in the files. Again, he's another one with a lot of knowledge. He's in the tech industry. Let me pull one more card for this pile. Maybe something to do with a female. Dominance. That's kind of interesting, isn't it? A facilitator type person, a dominant type person, female. That's interesting. What I'm seeing there hasn't been released, because there's obviously something that he wanted to acquire that he couldn't get anywhere else. But he does have associations. Then we have the politicians. We have Donald Trump mentioned over 3,000 times in the documents. Let's pull a card there. Donald Trump, truth is emerging from these files that the collective needs to see right now. Okay, so what we're seeing here is emerging from these files is very dark and sinister things. The Four of Cups says that there are things that we need to see. Maybe we're looking at it from a different perspective, or maybe it's changing our perspective of certain people. We're seeing a sinister side, a scandalous side of certain people. Now it's coming out because this is what the collective needs to see. It's showing instability, scandal amongst high-ranking people. This is a King card. Compliant, knowingly participated, sitting on top of the high-ranking King of Cups. Naive to think that this is not ongoing. Our perspective is changing. The reason why we're needing to see this, the collective needs to see these things right now, is because sinister things have been taking place for many years, perhaps even ongoing. Public has been naive to what's been going on, what scandals have been going on. Not to mention other things, similar things, but sinister things under the same umbrella. So maybe not the parties, this is other things that are also sinister that have taken place at those places. And I haven't yet seen any of those talked about. But why are they being released? Why do we need to see this stuff now? It's because it's going to improve the situation. It's a healing. This stuff needs to come out so we can be healed as a collective. It's very dark stuff that's been happening right under our noses. People we never thought possible to do these things. We've been naive and blind to what's really going on. And this includes other things that are similar to what's being released, taking place in the same places, but just a little bit different. And I'm picking up female involvement in some of these things. Top of the deck, rituals. Dark, sinister rituals. Which is probably what this is meaning. Okay, can you show me some of the things that are still being protected? What is hidden, still being protected? Movies being made when people are not in their right mind. That's what that connection is right there. So it may not be celebrities. Not saying it's not, but I'm just saying this movies being made or people being recorded while they have been in a hazy state of mind. That's exactly what that means. Naive is innocent, youth, the fool. Six of Coins, I think, paid money, so this would be the Virginia Giuffre type people, young, innocent, paid money for certain activities, debaucherous activities. Now we know that stuff's not hidden. What I'm concerned about is that the things that are only available to certain people. They're showing me different layers here. They're showing me party layers, people that went to party, people that went to make connections and network, people that went to use their money to pay for certain things, and privacy is what I'm picking up. They were also guaranteed the privacy of living out their fantasies, using their money to acquire certain things. Then there's a deeper layer. There's sinister activities, there's rituals. Then there's a deeper layer. Only a select, exclusive few involved in that deeper layer, the layer below the rituals. Possibly at ritual level, but definitely below the level of acquiring certain debaucherous activities. Now, what are we looking at? This card here. This card here. The darkness and deception around this. This is a ritual card to me too. It's got the moon there. But a select few were involved in this stuff. Possibly involving this card here. And I'm going to leave that one there because that's a little too dark. But just wanted to know what hasn't been released. What is still being protected. And I think people are not ready for that. Okay, this is showing very wealthy people, lots of money, financiers, very well-funded people. This is showing, because we're talking about the collective now, and what we need to do is be aware of how our energy is harvested. So we need to be very cautious what we do with our energy. And this is exactly what I said in last week's collective energy reading. We've got roll exit, closing a door, sitting next to an exit plan. Okay, what this is showing me is that when you are feeling intense, when the intensity rises from what you're reading, what you're discovering, what you're finding out, then you need to know when it's time to walk away, exit plan, when it's time to walk away, get fresh air, get grounded for your sanity, because your energy is being harvested. You're controllable when you let your energy be drained like that. You need to have boundaries. Boundaries with what you will allow into your energy field. Deliberately. Be deliberate with your boundaries. Because what I'm seeing here is that it's a target using information that's fearful to target individuals to harvest energy. Boundaries are necessary. Knowing when to move away from the energy is also important. It's all about mental health here, because the energy is very intense. Final words. First card to come out was Trade War Deliberately Obscuring. These came out first. Now, while I was thinking about this and I was shuffling, I was thinking that is this because there's lots of countries involved? It's not just American, there's other people from other countries. And yes, we know that I know there's people from Australia that were involved. We've seen them on the list this week. So there are people from all over the world involved in these things. They've been told there's different monarchs or royal families, not just the English royal family, but other royal families involved in this situation. So we're looking at all flags involved in this situation. I did think Trump, when I saw this, because he's the one that slaps tariffs on everybody, deliberately obscuring information, redacting certain things. Now, what I was thinking was, are they going to be using this time while we're all kind of distracted with the Epstein files to, because I was picking up the stuff again about the valuable resources around the world and what's going on with Greenland or existing or current wars. Will they use this energy of why we are distracted by Epstein files to strategically put other things in place, shifting alliances? This is the card that kept coming out when I was reading Greenland. And I was thinking when I saw these cards that I think in the background they're using this time to strategically look at shifting alliances when it comes to Greenland, because I was hearing valuable resources is what I was hearing when I was shuffling, and the answer that I got was yes. Trying to improve the situation, what's going on with Greenland. Well, this wasn't a question, this was just anything the cards wanted to talk about. So deliberately obscuring what's going on over here while we're looking over here. But deliberately obscuring is also redacting information as well. So thank you so much for joining me for today's reading, and I'll see you again soon.